morning, and thank you for tuning in for Your Come Up, where on Your Come Up, we talk about topics to help you come up: business, finance, personal, spiritual, or physical. Today, we're going to have a conversation here with Daniela Alpert about being a mom, an entrepreneur, a boss, a wife. Did I miss anything?
That sums it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if this is your first time here, drop us a like, a subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss your come up. Good morning, Well, not good morning. Good afternoon, Danielle.
Good afternoon.
How you doing
Doing
today?
doing well. Happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here. Thank you for doing this. I'm always curious I like to get more women to come up on here and talk about their come up, and they get a little shy.
You know what? Beyonce is my inspiration. Who runs the world?
Girls.
See? Who runs the world?
Girls. You know what? Obama was president, but Michelle Obama's like, I don't give a crap if China is having a fit. You better come home for this mac and cheese dinner.
No kidding. The real CEO. Yes.
The real
yes,
CEO.
I know how that goes.
That's right. I'm the girl behind the guy. So
yeah. Hey, it takes a village.
There you go. So Daniela, in 60 seconds or less, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So in a nutshell, you mentioned it, right? I'm a wife, a mother, a co-founder of a startup called Shyft. Mm-hmm. So we believe that moving is freedom, and we're using technology to democratize relocation. Mm-hmm. You can say I'm a nomad. I'm obsessed with travel. Mm-hmm. We like to explore new places. We bring our kids everywhere. And then on the family side, I'm first generation Italian. Feel really blessed to be raised with the family that I have. I grew up in Connecticut, so East Coaster. Okay. A lot of my family still lives there, between there and Arizona. I've moved 5 times. I live in Northern California now. We have a blended family. So I have 2 bonus kids, mm-hmm. and then 2 children, 4 and 2.
And by saying you love to travel, you're filming inside of your VW.
Yes, we got creative during COVID and just being home. We were traveling 75% of the time before. We got this dub box from Oregon, from BW Restoration Company, and it's just here in our backyard. And my husband works in the garage, and then we have the kids settled up in the house. So it's good to have some separation.
Hey, the garage is where a man belongs. That's our man cave right there.
Man cave. You got to see it. There's lights and surfboards and all crazy stuff in there.
Is there a keg in there too?
No, not yet. We're still in dry January, but if you were to ask me in February, maybe.
I'll be there. First question. How do you handle mom guilt as a mom, entrepreneur, and a wife and a boss? Because our kids do try to make us feel guilty about what we do.
All the time. Mom guilt, it has to stop. When one becomes a mother, it's like she's expected to give so much of herself that you can sometimes lose yourself in your kids. I think we all experience it a little bit differently, but I am wearing a lot of different hats. So as a mom, as a boss, as an entrepreneur, as a mom, it's like second guessing yourself. Right. Especially when the kids are very young. Are they eating well? Are they meeting their milestones? Why aren't they smiling enough? Do they eat their broccoli?
Exactly. They didn't eat their broccoli.
They definitely didn't eat their broccoli. Right. No. And you just you take that on. I was second guessing about going back to work when the kids were little. It's never the right time. Should I be doing less in my career and more in the house? But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to just balancing those responsibilities a little bit better. Yeah, I don't think it has to be one or the other. I think it's very much a balance.
Okay. Hey, there's a time for work, there's a time for play, allocate this much time for work. And in my case, my kids do, especially my daughter, she always gets all this little cutesy 4-year-old guilty thing, Daddy, play with me. And it feels weird saying I'm editing a YouTube video. I can't, but it's I got to allocate this.
Your work.
It's work. I got to allocate this. You're going to daycare. I don't care. That kind of rhymed or it didn't, but.
Yeah, but and explaining the why too. I feel like sometimes when the kids were little, I feel like I was maybe glossing over some of those answers, but now I'm finding myself just being more present and explaining the why. Mm-hmm. And then, as a 4-year-old, he's starting to get it, right? So just being able to respect those boundaries a little bit more. He's still not respecting the boundary of not coming into the bed during the night because he's not sleeping through the night yet. But hopefully soon.
There is one trick I did do with my daughter because she's already begging me for Princess Elsa Halloween costume. Like,
Yeah.
Halloween is not for 10 months or whatnot, or 9 months.
Mhm.
She doesn't get that. Daddy will. That means it's coming, right? All right, tell you what, if you let Daddy finish this work, that means I will have the money to buy you that Princess Elsa costume, right? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
Daddy, work. I'll just put on like bubble guppies or something.
totally. But yeah, understanding like like I'm doing this because of that. I just
Mhm.
feel like kids love when, when we take the time to explain. So if it's Elsa or some other milestone reward that they want to have, it's like, yeah,
Mhm.
let's work together towards that milestone for sure.
Or with the boys, a Tonka truck, but my son doesn't care about all that right
Really,
now. Yeah.
just wants daddy.
No, I joke about this. My daughter is a daddy's girl, and my son will sell out his dad the first chance he gets. But
Oh my God.
he's kind of his own. My daughter is the one that tries to make me feel guilty. So good to hear from a mom's perspective.
Yeah.
Next question. What is a day in the life like for a mom boss like yourself?
So my day typically starts between 5:30 a.m. to 6:30, depending on when the kids wake up. Like I said, Rocco's still not sleeping through the night, so we don't know. But
Hmm.
usually we're getting started around 7 a.m. Thankfully, I have a nanny, so she will show up around that time, start getting breakfast with the kids. My calls will start around 7. Since a lot of our team works in Eastern Europe, I tend to start earlier in the day.
Okay.
And if my calls don't start right in the morning, first thing in the morning, I'll be able to ride my Peloton, which I love so much.
There you go.
My girl, Jess King, she's not only my Peloton instructor, but she's my life coach. So every time I get on that bike, it's always a good way to start the day.
I can only imagine what a life coach will say while you're, doing your workout. You're not pushing yourself, Danielle. Yes, I am.
Yeah, a little bit, just like she calls sweat glitter. Like there's just so many beautiful things around like the Peloton lifestyle and just like breaking through some of those blockers that we have and like realizing human potential. And that just super aligns with kind of my outlook and just that, I believe that people should have more experiences and that sometimes we're selling ourselves too short and just what we're really capable of doing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about you on that Peloton bike. Like, did you meet your first quarter quota for 2021? I'm still working on it, so
Yeah.
that's awesome. So
Thank you.
after the bike and your workout, what else?
Yeah.
Okay.
From there, calls are going to be starting. So I'm just like back to back Zoom calls, usually in this spot right here. Meals are sometimes in here or through there, but it's like you walk in the house and the kids, mommy, look at this, look at that. So I really try to just like get my work done and then be able to hang out with them. Of course, showering happens at some point of the day. It varies from one day to another.
No, parents, we do not shower. We stink worse than our kids. They get showers before we do.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely trying to do that and like, getting dressed. I was super casual, like beginning of COVID. I was just like, just roll out of bed, right?
Right.
But getting ready, like doing my hair, makeup feels good these days. So 3 to 7 meetings a day, maybe. Sometimes, I have lunch with the kids, sometimes not. And then like I'm trying to do more yoga, paddle boarding. Like we were just so bored being at home. There's a little river here in our town. We're like, oh, let's try paddle boarding. So that was really nice, kind of switching up the workouts from inside to out. Dinner time, there's the wind down time with the kids going to sleep, and I've been trying to do some tech detox at the end of the day. So I have this little sign on my bedroom door that says no cell phones allowed, only love and rest. And like as a mom who like is not getting a lot of sleep right now, I just needed it to be there front and center. And it's actually been really great. Just read a book, do some yoga, put on my lavender oil, go to sleep.
There you go. Are you physical book, ebook, audiobook kind of person?
A mix between audiobook and physical book, yeah.
I'm just curious. It's always a question I ask as an author. I prefer audiobooks, even though I write books.
I think it depends on the like what you're doing. Like when I'm in the shower or getting ready, it's like audiobook, put it on. Yeah. Like before sleep, more of a tangible type of book is nice.
Next question. And, I was a GM before COVID. You're a boss. So this question might be up our alley. How do you hire the right people to grow your business?
Yeah, this has been a really big learning for us as of recent. We brought some really great talent in, and I think some of the learnings, if I had to summarize it, is first you have to understand the functions that you want the role to own.
Hmm.
Sometimes people go with the role first. It's like, no, think through the actual functions that that person would own and how that fits into the team. So that's the number one
Right.
piece. The second one is being extremely present during interviews. So whatever you have to do, if you're driving, if you have other things, like just being present and really giving people your undivided attention, so you can really understand and get to know them, so that there's nothing that you're missing in the interview process. As far as like, the culture questions, like I personally think that questions about your culture can help you gauge if someone would be a good fit. Attitude and grit, to me, are more experience or have more weight than experience in my book.
I agree.
I
agree.
like, then talk about job experience, talk about what they would bring to the role, and more importantly, to the company. So that's kind of the way that we look at it, is more from, a people standpoint, making sure that they're a good fit, and then, drilling into more of the details from there.
Quick story of mine: when I managed a moving company, we were looking for a warehouseman, and a lot of applications came in with experience. There was one guy I really liked a lot, but new ownership wanted to go with more experience. And I liked him a lot because, in my experience, I believe your attitude determines your altitude. And you can't teach that. And he had a really good attitude, even though his experience was meh. But his attitude was like, let's do it, man. If you want me, in order for me to get experience, I have to get experience. I'm like, dude, you're my kind of guy.
Totally, because those are the people that like break through when times get hard.
Exactly.
Right? Like it's all about how you react versus one thing after another. Like, yeah, life is hard, work is hard, but it's more so your attitude to overcome those challenges. So yeah, I agree. I think it's important.
I'm probably impressed to have, since you're in NorCal, a spicy tuna roll before you do that interview, because you don't want this mom boss hungry and hangry at the same time. So.
Yeah, and you add in the East Coast and the Sicilian. Yeah, spicy tuna is a really good description of what might be coming out on that call. It's our authentic part of who we are, right?
That's right.
And spice. Some people like spicy, and some people don't.
So, last question I want to ask you is, what do you know now that you wished you knew then about growing your business while being a mom, wife, and a boss?
I wish that someone would have told me that I don't have to give 100% of me to every role all the time, because it's impossible. And I don't feel like women have enough role models in the business world to know what's possible. I mean, the gaps are slowly being bridged with a lot of initiatives that are happening. But the majority of, especially of startup founders, are men over the age of 40. So women have very few people to look up to in tech, especially in startups. But back to the question. I mean, if I would tell myself that I'm giving 100% to my job, one day I cannot give 100% to my family, and that's okay. But when my family needs 100% of me, my job won't get it that day. So I think it just goes back to like the balance and presence piece. To achieve both of them, you have to be more mindful. And that's another thing that I wish my younger self practiced more of just like being more mindful around how you can really get to that type of balance, to women that have big ambitions and who want to raise families. And to know that you can do it in a way where like your ambitions don't have to take away from your joy and your sense of self. It's not easy, but it's possible. We can unite as women who want to have both the career and the family life.
Well, the kids don't feed themselves, and neither do the bills. So
yeah, exactly.
There you go. Any last or final words before we wrap up?
I appreciate you reaching out to me, and it's always good to see people that are diversifying their skills and interests. So it's cool that we've related on the moving side, and
definitely.
I just want to say that I'm proud of you to see what you've been doing with writing books and with your channel. And
thank
you.
I
always feel connected to the people that are pushing the envelope there, and doing things that aren't always that comfortable. So appreciate it.
Well, there's a thing of I'm always curious on what's on the other side of that mountain. And in order to have your breakthroughs, you got to do some things you're a little not ready to do. That's how you have your breakthroughs. I wrote a kid's book, learned video editing, and new opportunities came about that way.
And if you can design something where like the work you're doing today doesn't feel like work,
oh, you're not working at
then
all.
It's an added bonus, right?
Exactly. And as a consequence, the finances will come later. So no, do what you love. And I can tell you're doing what you love in your game. And also, before I wrap up any more of your time, I don't want your spicy tuna roll in the back there.
I know. It smells good.
What is it, by the way? I'm
tuna?
Is
no,
it?
It's
Oh, he goes on timeout then.
It's veggie. It's veggie over brown rice. It's delicious.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Yeah,
right
but
there.
I definitely am gonna have to get a spicy tuna roll here soon because we've been talking about it way too much. In February when I can have the sake with it, because dry January. So yeah, spicy tuna and sake is coming soon.
Oh, well, you know what? 2 more days you can have that.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Daniela. Thank you again for coming in, and thank you guys for watching your come up. Until next time.